of eating and drinking. Massiano's wants to make sure that this is the best part of your day. Visit Massianos.com and sign up to view their special offers all year long. Delivery, carry out, or dine in, enjoy it anyway, because life is good at Massiano's.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome to Out to Lunch, WRMN. My name is Dennis Sonar Green, and I will be taking you through the next hour right here on 1410. That's 1410 AM for all you cool cats and kittens out there that love the AM airwaves. But if you prefer to do more of the digital thing, you can go ahead and go to WRMN1410.com. The benefit of going there is you get to see all my friends as well. Thanks for going live, team. Appreciate that as well. That's right, we are live in a few different places. Live on the stream, so you can listen to the audio. Just tell your smart speaker. They know all about us. The other thing that we're live on is, of course, YouTube, so you can see us. What? Television, radio, newfangled thing out there. Hey, let's go into my two special guests that are in studio with me right now. That's right. We are still in for-profit season right now. I've got writer, director, Superman of the film, Mark Iverson, with me.
Hello, hello.
Thank you, sir, for being here with me as well. And we've got somebody new voices. Met him on Friday when we saw the movie together. That, of course, is Cal Marshall. Thank you very much for being here, sir.
Thanks for having me.
So, how are you guys riding this this premiere, this opening as it's coming through? Lots of different experiences is coming for it, because everybody gets to kind of celebrate and then come back together for another one and then go out and celebrate and come back. So what has been the mood for everything? How has the world accepted the Prophet?
It's been great. They've been loving For Profit. I was in Charleston holding down the fort there on in the Carolinas with a lot of family and friends and fans, and we had a packed house on Friday night for the opening. It was great. I had friends driving out from Charlotte and other places in South Carolina, driving hours and hours to come out for the premiere. Is really, really fantastic. Great opening weekend. Went to a bunch of screenings, met a bunch of fans. In fact, I was quick, really funny story.
Yeah.
Saturday night, went out to a screening with a couple of friends who came in town. We had a pretty good crowd out. A lot of people had seen me on the local news in Charleston. I went on two different stations there. I went on the Fox News Charleston, and I also went on Live 5 News. And we had, got some fans out. It was great. People came up to me like, "Oh, I saw you in the news. Can you sign my receipt?" And it was great. That was fun. And then one of the couples, we were talking after with them, getting some pictures and stuff like that. And I asked them their name, and the man was like, "Oh, my name is Alan." And I said, "Well, that's my father's name, and he's one of the executive producers on the film. Isn't that incredible?" Mm-hmm. And he said, "Oh, that's so funny. That's great." And I turned to his wife, and I asked what her name was. Well, her name was Wanda. Wow. And that is my mother's name as well. Total God thing. Total spirit thing. Just unbelievable. A random couple in Charleston coming out Saturday night to the screening of For Profit, whose names were the exact same names as the executive producers of the film.
Your parents were there in spirit and in name.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. And it's a story my dad is going to tell till his grave. He loves it. I told him that he couldn't get enough of it. It's one of those moments where you're like, you know what? There's something going on here. Mm-hmm. There's a synergy happening. And so, I had a great time in Charleston, and then I just flew back yesterday morning for a special screening at River East downtown and did a Q&A, which was fantastic. It's been a great opening weekend.
Yeah, I really liked the Friday. Had a great Q&A with everybody down there, with Dennis, with the cinematographers, with the editors. It was a really great time. It's still playing in the River East. Wonderful seating down there as well. And the talk about names as well, a new name here on the station is Cal Marshall. Thank you very much for being here, sir. And how do you connect with For Profit? I heard you are a man of a Renaissance man about town, and have connected. I believe something to do with makeup or something like that.
Yeah. So actually, I was connected to For Profit through makeup and hair.
Okay.
The beauty aspect of the movie, which is something that I focused on primarily, which was amazing. I got to work with some great talents, Takia Crystal Kima, the late Burt Belasco.
Yeah.
And so we were able to really bond and forge some really great friendships as well as great relationships. So For Profit came through with me with makeup. I actually live in Los Angeles. So I got a call and I was like, hey, could you come down to Chicago and please do some makeup? And the funny part is, For Profit was one that I will never forget this movie, not just because of the message of it or what I've done for it. And I don't even know if Mark even knows this or not, but the reason that I actually took the job was not even because I wanted the job.
Okay.
Oh.
I took the job because my father was dying from pancreatic cancer, and they gave him 2 weeks to live. And they told me that this movie would take me to Chicago for 2 weeks. And I said, all right. And my dad lived for 1.5 years, actually. But the crazy part was about 4 months, I think 3 or 4 months we were in the movie going back and forth. I was here for like 2 or 3 months during that time. That allowed me the time to be with my father for the extended time he got from God. Wow. So
Amen.
For Profit gave me time that I didn't have with my father, who actually, it was the last moments I had with him. So when I saw the movie, I got to go back and put me back into that place of, it was such a godsend just to even be connected to someone who had a vision to do something in Illinois, because living in Los Angeles, there are all types of people producing movies and TV shows, but to see the script, I was like, okay, it's about God. It's back in my hometown of Chicago. I was like, let's go ahead and just see. You get to be with your dad for a couple of bit, let's see what happens. And it was one of the most amazing things. So I am connected to the movie, not just by makeup, but by life and by the journey that I have been on. And Mark and For Profit and my For Profit family will forever be integral to my journey.
Mark, and we've talked about that before, about how so many different stories came together to make this. Yeah. And you talk about the serendipity of your parents' names being there, but this movie has more than just coincidence around it. Think about the person that you took the longest route to bring into. Does that person come into mind of this person that I'm so glad that they showed up at this time, because we all needed coffee and this person showed up with Dunkin' Donuts out of nowhere and was just like, this is it. This is the person, the godsend.
Well, there were a lot of moments like that. A lot of people that came into the production that were just keystones, that just came at the right time. I mean, I would say that Burt Belasco, certainly, I pursued another actor for that role, and actually that role of the DJ was written as an older man to start. And the story, even in the movie, of that character's daughter was a granddaughter originally. It was an older DJ guy who we were pursuing another actor. I had known, had a good relationship with a manager who knew an actor who's very well known and a character actor for 40 years, and I pursued that actor first. Okay. They passed. It was not enough money for them, and rightfully so. We just our budget was usually what they would probably make on a film. So I thought maybe they might do a solid, but that's okay. So when they passed, I'm like, all right, what are we gonna do? And then Rico Natali, really good friends with Burt Belasco, reached out to me and said, hey, okay, you know what? If we rewrite the role a little bit, my incredibly talented friend who's been in all these shows who's an absolute amazing actor, he could crush it. I could talk to him. We just got to tweak the character a little bit. And that's what we did. And then Burt came onto the film, which was an absolute godsend. His role is pivotal. He has inarguably the best scene in the movie. And of course, now we've lost him to heaven, but it's something where I'm just thankful every single day that he came onto the film. And when we needed him the most, because like I said, we had to rewrite it to make it work for him, and it all worked out great. And then he loved the script. He was a man of big faith as well. And he was great to work with, as Cal can attest to. He was just such a charismatic man, such a talent. And him coming onto the film was one of those moments for sure. The other one I would say would be Eddie Jemison, who plays the mayor, who's absolutely hilarious and is inarguably probably the most well-known face of the actors in the film, because people always say, I know that guy. I'm like, yes, you do. You've seen the Ocean's 11 movies. You know that guy.
That's it.
Yeah, and he's been on Broadway. He's been in tons of shows. He had a big stint on Chicago Med. I don't know if you knew that, but he also was a godsend because I was pursuing, again, another actor. I know a guy, really, really great actor who's been in lots of TV shows. I have a personal relationship with him, and I reached out to him and offered him the role first. And he had certainly over the years said, please let me know. I love your work. I would like to work with you. Didn't work out for scheduling conflicts or with a scheduling conflict. So, but we didn't hear from him for a while. He's really bad with email, so he didn't get back to us for a while. So we had only a few weeks before the shoot to figure out who's going to play the mayor, and that was always a role we wanted somebody a little bit more known. It was only going to be 4 days, so we could schedule them really well, and we wanted somebody who was a little bit more well-known. And so again, Enrico was like, all right, I worked with Eddie Jemison before. He's fantastic. You know him from this, that, and the other. Let's reach out. So we reached out. He liked the script. We talked, all this stuff. And then the real godsend was that his agents were like, the money is not there at all. Like, you guys are super low budget. You do not have the money that he deserves. And we're like, you're right. We don't have the money he deserves, but this is what we got. And Eddie, to his testament, was like, I'll do it. He said he went against his agent's advice and said, no. I know this producer. I like this role. I'm going to do it. It's just 4 days. I think it'll be fun. Let's go. And that doesn't happen. Actors always listen, as maybe they should, to their agents. And he said, no, that's okay. I realize this isn't going to be the biggest payday, but we did certainly, make it worth his while. And he was another godsend, another one of those moments that just clicked right in, and so thankful.
Absolute godsend and beauty, as you said, Cal, came together with a lot of the visual and the storytelling with the story. And in that, makeup is part of that story. Makeup distinguishes a mugger from an angel. Like the two incredible contrasts that you had in this, when the mugger that you can absolutely tell is on hard times and is just like, oh my goodness, we can't pin what he's on, but it's like, it's something, right? He's a little too wet to not be on something.
Right, exactly.
Or at least somebody's throwing water balloons down the street. So explain that process of saying, okay, this person needs to be shimmering and this person needs to be accentuated from their eyes or drawn in a certain way, versus a person that needs to be, okay, this person needs to be a regular person. How do I make them glamorous, but not how do we get movie glamorous, but not all the way over the top?
Well, I would say that it comes with the backstory. When you are given a script that has an amazing cast and you can see the people, you can visualize them. And I think that within our own mental constructs of who we are as people, as a community, as a society, we usually have ideas of what we see people to be. If you look at someone who's successful, you may think that they might have, brighter teeth. They may have, better skin. They may have better nails. You see someone who's working an average job or not even an average job because nothing's average, but no one's average. But when you see someone who's working more of a labor-oriented job, they may have shorter nails because they can't have long nails because they may break them. They may have, they may not be concerned if they have great white teeth, as long as they have good teeth in their head that can eat. They're good, So it all depends. And when you look at the story that you're given, like within For Profit, we had Takia Crystal Kima, who was the wealthy wife of a doctor who was doing fundraisers. So this woman, of course, is going to be a woman of means who does things differently. And one of the cultural things that we actually had to combat within that was the fact that Takia is a very, very, very big supporter, and she's a very big activist for natural hair. So within our script, a lot of times when you see women of color, unfortunately, who are in positions on film, they usually have straight hair and it's completely, processed and it's just, gorgeous wig and it's just beautiful. The unfortunate thing is Takia was like, wait, that's not real.
Yeah.
She's like, there are women who look like me who have normal natural hair, and I should be able to have more than just an afro, but I should be able to have different looks. And I said, you know what? You are correct, because we don't have to do wigs. We don't have to do weaves or even add hair. We can create natural looks with your natural hair texture to really bring out the person who you should be.
When we first see her in the courtroom scene, I think that's the first time that we actually see her face to face. Her hair is up and it's beautiful. It's got ribbons in it. How did you guys come together to accentuate that and not make it like, oh my gosh, this is somebody's hair? Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes people have hairstyles where they're like, I want to show it off, but I don't want to be the center of attention, because the scene is more about the community that's aspect, but we're still bringing attention to her. Or even in the wardrobe, we've got a brighter blue dress or pantsuit. I think we didn't see most of it, but combining that all together to still be powerful, but not so braggadocious for everything.
Well, for her, that actual scene that she's introduced in, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a minute, so Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, but she had just came from work to go to that court scene. Yeah. And so when you think about, like, for her, she's coming from work, she's going directly into court, it's an emergency hearing. A person who's in that type of capacity, they don't necessarily have the time to go home and redo their hair and put on a fabulous gown or a fabulous outfit to come into court and be, posh spice. They have no time to go from their home. Let me just go ahead and get this together. And most people in their everyday life would probably have their hair pinned up, coiffed up, something like that, because they don't want to have anything on their neck. It's a simple, for me, it was like, a woman's not going to have.
It's practical.
So it's like, let's keep it practical and keep it normal, keep it natural, because that's what people can relate to. And like you say in the film, when you saw the beauty, it wasn't over glammed. It wasn't trying to make it into, some creature that came from the, planet of Glamwood. It was a woman who could be any woman who could be going through this, because the storyline of For Profit can be anyone. Yeah. And that's what the whole sense for me as an artist in that aspect was, to make sure everyone could be.
Mark, before we go to break, reiterate your drive for inclusion into this.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before, and nowhere even in the dialogue is anybody even saying, no, you don't belong here. Right. Even in the whole movie, regardless of what it is, it's always inclusion. It's always, yes, bring in, yes, this is the story. Yeah. And how was that for both cast and crew, putting that together?
Yeah, it was something that we always wanted, even in the script form. But then in casting and putting the crew together, like Cal said, I think that the film resonates with people because they can put themselves in almost all the characters.
Because you've got believers and non-believers even as a mix.
Right, certainly. Yeah, there are people struggling with their faith. There are people who have strong faith. There are people who will never come to faith in the movie. It's eclectic, and it's Americana. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I really wanted For Profit to be a microcosm of America right now. And we wanted to have, the diversity in the cast. We wanted to have diversity of thought in the roles. We wanted to have diversity of opinions, diversity of faith, all of these things. And we wanted to be a slice of America, and that people can look at and say, oh, I feel like I understand Damon's story because I feel like that's what's going on in my town. I feel like the community's crumbling. That's the thing, community is so important, especially when you're talking about, building a life together. something that one of the reasons why we shot in Elgin was because I feel like Elgin itself has such a great community, and the community came out to help the crew, the cast, the businesses, the government, the city council,
the extras,
the great extras, the radio station, the community came out, and the struggle in the movie is that the community is suffering because the funds are not there for the shelter, and the mental health facility had been closed, and people are leaving the town, and the community is not coming together, and that's the story. And so we wanted to make sure through the cast, through the crew, that we were able to tell that story of rebuilding a community. And in order to do that, you got to have the diversity within the community. You got to show everybody's thought patterns, everybody's backgrounds, and like what Cal was saying with Takia, Takia bringing her amazing talent, but also her advocacy for natural hair was a great touch. Like when she brought that up, so what do you think? Should we do natural or not? I'm like, well, what do you think? She's like, I want natural, of course. And I'm like, great. And then Cal, I turned to Cal, I'm like, you got this, right? He's like, I got this.
Yeah,
And so he was her, like, pretty much her go-to assistant for like the entire shoot, like her right-hand man, helping her out to make sure that she was looking good, because natural hair was something, like he said, that she's an advocate for, but it also was something where, I think that showcases a really interesting touch for the character, and that it shows a diversity within the community of everybody and the different types of people and the different backgrounds that can be shown in a community. And in the story, the community is crumbling, and we just really wanted to make sure and showcase that is unfortunately the case across the country. A lot of communities are not as strong as they used to be. We need to reignite community, reignite faith communities, non-faith communities, cities, all of these types of communities that people have. I think people are getting pulled away because of digital technology. I think people are getting pulled away with politics. Things are, within families, people are getting divided over all kinds of issues. And I think this is not the time to allow the crumbling to happen. I think this is the time to reignite the bonds that we have had for so long in this country. And I really think that was an absolute choice that I made going into this movie, that I wanted to make sure to tell that story of reigniting community.
That's the attention to detail, and that is the message and drive behind the movie For Profit. ForProfitFilm.com in theaters right now. Go there. ForProfitFilm.com. South Barrington, River East. We've got Carpentersville, Lake of the Hills, the Marcus Cinema, even down here in Elgin. Join us right after this commercial break to talk with the fellows a little bit more about why Elgin and how are some of the other places in the world responding to what Elgin looks like. WRMN, out to lunch. Be right back after this.
Attention Fox River Valley. In response to listener input, WRMN AM 1410 is bringing back the live radio shopping show to your Saturday mornings. Join us from 8 a.m. to noon every Saturday starting June 29th for incredible deals and unbeatable savings. And that's not all. Our Redemption Center will now be open only on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So mark your calendars and get ready for Saturday morning shopping sprees with WRMN AM 1410, your station for great savings and local fun.
Adrenaline Monkey is located inside the Life Zone 360 building on Route 72 in West Dundee. Release your inner wild child at Adrenaline Monkey. It's the area's highest octane indoor adventure center. Perfect for the whole family, too. Adventurers of all ages can try Ninja Warrior obstacles, rock climbing, vertical adventures, and aerial course. Adrenaline Monkey can also host your organization's team building programs. Half-day and full-day sessions are available. Visit adrenalinemonkeyfun.com/WD.
Bender Dental Care, located at 217 North McLean Boulevard in Elgin. Bender Dental wants everyone to be informed, appreciated, and cared for at all times. To prove it, they now offer a new patient exam for just $29. That includes consult, x-ray, exam, and cleaning. Let Bender Dental help you have healthy teeth and gums for a lifetime. Located at 217 North McLean Boulevard in Elgin. Visit BenderDentalCare.com.
The weather is getting better, and we know it's the time when ladders and DIYers come out. Before you start any new outdoor projects, ComEd wants you to know that electricity can jump from a power line to you and the tools you're using. So maintain a safe distance from any power lines. You can also call ComEd at 1-800-EDISON-1 to have those power lines de-energized the next time you do any type of work around them. Stay smart, stay safe, stay back. ComEd, powering lives.
Hey there, this is Marky B from The First Shift, inviting you to join Brian Anderson for his new radio show, Kane County Speaks, every Thursday from 9 until 10 a.m. during the final hour of my morning show. It's an election year, and Brian will discuss important local issues and interview local candidates from the perspective of Kane County Speaks. The show will feature open phone lines for your thoughts, comments, and questions, and the chat room will be open at WRMN Radio on YouTube. Kane County Speaks is citizen-driven and focused on making Kane County a better place to live and work with goals of freedom, security, and prosperity for all. To learn more about their grassroots organization, you can check them out at KaneCountySpeaks.com. Let's discuss the issues of Kane County so that you can get involved and make a difference too. It's Kane County Speaks every Thursday morning with Brian Anderson from 9 until 10 a.m. during the first shift right here on WRMN, AM 1410, and at WRMN Radio on YouTube.
Beef Villa's 3 locations offer much more than their signature Italian beef. Try the Italian sausage, roasted chicken, and more. There's a big variety of delicious side dishes. Beef Villa uses quality ingredients from homemade recipes, and they purchase top-of-the-quality food products from their vendors to bring you the absolute best tasting of foods. Beef Villa's great service and quality are waiting for you, but you won't be waiting long because it's always hot and fresh. Visit beefvilla.com.
Beef Villa is a family-owned restaurant that has been in business for over 50 years. With homemade recipes made with quality ingredients, Beef Villa's great service and quality is served hot and fast. For the menu, catering locations, or for an application to join the Beef Villa team, visit beefvilla.com. Saturdays mean cruise nights, weather permitting, on Spring Street in South Elgin. Visit beefvilla.com.
Welcome back to WRMN. You're listening to Out to Lunch. My name is Dennis Sonar Green. I've got a few amazing people here in studio with me today. Accomplishers. People that get things done. Get some motivation from these people because I'm telling you right now, it's paying off. I saw the movie. I saw how great it was. You need to see how great it was. What movie am I talking about? That's right. For Profit. That's with a PH, not an F. I guess there's one at the beginning. But forprofitfilm.com is where you can go. Find those theaters that are around you. And since you're listening online, of course, well, if AM dial, sure, you can go and find it on the internet as well. But since you're listening on the internet, did you know that it's in multiple states? Mark, how many places, how many theaters did you manage to nail down with this first round?
We are in 11 theaters across the country. So certainly a select cinemas release, limited release, but we are in Phoenix, right outside Phoenix, in Mesa, Arizona there at the Harkins Superstition 25. We are in Los Angeles in the Glendale Theater, the AMC Americana at the Brand, a beautiful, beautiful theater there. We are at the AMC Ontario in the Inland Empire, Ontario, California. We are in Charleston, 2 theaters in Charleston, the Citadel Stadium Mall Theater in West Ashley, right outside Charleston. And then in North Charleston, we're at the Northwood Stadium Cinema as well. And then we also got a theater right outside Knoxville, Tennessee, called Governor's Crossing.
Wow.
And then, of course, Chicagoland. So we are downtown Chicago at the River East, AMC River East, beautiful theater there. We had 2 special screenings over the weekend. and Sonar was so wonderful to moderate the Q&A on Friday night, and then Dino, one of the other co-owners here at WRMN, he moderated on Sunday, which was amazing. And then we also have obviously all the burbs. We got the burbs here. We got the Elgin Marcus. We got AMC Lake in the Hills. We got the Carpentersville Classic Cinemas. We have AMC South Barrington. I think that might be
I think you nailed everybody.
Gambit.
You've got all of them memorized now.
I know too much. I know too much.
That sounds like a road trip game almost. Like, hey, I'm coming back to Chicago, so let's see. But here, yes, around us here, I had the privilege of watching it first time at the Marcus Cinema here in Elgin. Wonderful theater, great comfy seats on that side. Tickets are still available there. I heard you guys sold out the Barrington Theater at least 2 nights.
Yeah.
I think there was at least 2 nights on that. People were getting turned away at the door. No, I'm saying.
Well, we had sold so many in the pre-sales that they added a bunch more theaters.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep. The River East, I was able to see on Friday. That's still showing as well. And you can go to forprofitfilm.com/theaters. And you'll be able to actually purchase and figure out your tickets and schedule right there. You're doing a fantastic job keeping all of us in the loop for that. You can also see the trailer. The trailer is amazing. Don't just take our word for how great this movie is. We may be a little biased, but I think you just watching the trailer, everybody walks away from that with a smile. Everybody I've shown that to has turned around and said, well, that's like that chuckle at the end of it, of just like, because when he closed, I don't want. Okay, never mind. I don't want to spill it. I don't want to spill it. You got to watch it. You got to watch that trailer that's over there. You are all over social media. That's on right now, and that is For Profit Film or hashtag For Profit. I think is For Profit Movie. I think is one you've also used before as well. And then we did have one question. Cal was nice enough to ask this question during the break, so I could use it. Hopefully, I win some awards for it, Cal, and I'll share some accolades with you. But Mark, this has been a passion project. We've seen you pour so much of yourself into this. How has this experience and this, let's call it a metamorphosis, how has this changed you as a filmmaker, but also as a man of faith?
Yeah, in so many ways. In so many ways. When you make your first feature film as a filmmaker, you know, you were a man and then you become a boy, or you were a boy and then you become a man. You know, I made 50 short films, 46 episodes of a web series. I've done every kind of filmmaking you can do except a feature film up to this point. And this is now, I have found my voice. I have established myself as a professional feature filmmaker, and I've manned up. I've really manned up, and I really feel it. I feel it in the knowledge I've gained as a professional filmmaker. I feel it in the knowledge I gained as an entrepreneur. I mean, I invested a lot of my own financing into this film, so that was a big learning experience. And I would say that is when it comes to the filmmaking, you know, that's the balance. You know, I think when you go to people who are cinephiles and you want to go to, maybe you want to go to film school and you grow up and you think about, you know, just the art of cinema, and that's very important and it's wonderful. It is true that you need to understand the art of cinema, but you need to understand the business too. You really do. If you don't understand the business, then go do something else, because you write a novel, paint a picture, take photography, you know, do something that doesn't cost millions of dollars. Because if you want to do something and express yourself honestly with millions of dollars, you're going to have conversations with people and understand the business and pitch to investors and have ROI breakdowns and really understand that this is nuts and bolts, this is dollars and cents. And if you don't want to do it, then find something else that isn't going to cost millions of dollars. Now, I went into this, you know, understanding that I was putting in my own money, that I'm a small business owner, to be frank. I knew that I was going to have a big learning curve. that learning curve was gigantic. I mean, it was something where I went to business school. You know, I came out the other side, and I really do feel. I'm right there every year doing taxes with my tax guy. Like it's not something where I just sat back and was able to sit on my director's chair and just make some artistic choices. I really got into the weeds of the business and learned so much, and that's really where I think I gained a lot of understanding and knowledge, and it's going to help me moving forward for my next films, which I pray and hope to God that I don't have to finance myself. But but to make your first movie with your own financing is a lot of ways the best way to go, because, you know, whether you're Christopher Nolan, whether you're Richard Linklater, Kevin Smith, Spike Lee, as we were talking about before, you know, I think one of the things that you have to understand is that you have to find your voice. And so I made a decision. I said, okay, I need this to be my film. My first feature film cannot be somebody else's film. It cannot be somebody else's voice. It cannot be somebody else's vision. In order to keep it my voice and keep it my vision, I knew I had to invest into it. So I spent 10 years raising the capital, and it came together. As a man of faith, the other part of the question, as a man of faith, I had struggles of faith big time making this movie, not only in pre-production, in production, in post-production, in finding distribution. And maybe in the finding of the distribution is where I really, really struggled the most. You know, we made a film that I think objectively is higher quality than most faith movies. And that was a big goal we had. We went into this saying a lot of faith movies do not have top tier acting. They do not have top tier cinematography. They do not have top tier makeup and hair. You know, every aspect of a lot of faith movies falter in the filmmaking. And that is not what I am. I am a true filmmaker, and I went into this knowing that I had to make a movie first. That said, in doing what I did and making something that was artistic and making something that was a little unique, that had a lot of comedy, which is unheard of in a lot of faith movies, a lot of distributors were like, wow, this is really well done. It's funny. I'm laughing out loud. You have great actors. You got great production value, the cinematography, incredible stuff. We don't know what to do with this. It is unique, and it's your voice, and it's
How do we
fun.
market it?
How do we market?
Yeah.
How do we were literally told? I will. They will go nameless. They will remain nameless. But we were literally told by a very big faith distributor that they don't put God and comedy together. And I was like, well, God made laughter, so I don't know. I think it goes together pretty well. And when it comes to like pastors, I only listen to pastors that make me laugh. Like I don't like the pastors that are all hell and brimstone. You know, I want to be able to smile and have joy in my life. And I think a film that brings spirituality and faith together, spirituality, faith, and comedy together is what we need right now. But a lot of distributors were not having it, and so it took a minute. And in that, I struggle with my faith. I struggle with my faith as a filmmaker. I struggle with my faith, not in God, but questioning God. Did I make the right choice? Is this really what you want me to do? Because I'm being told by these distributors that in a weird way, I made a film that's too good. That's not checking all the boxes that they have for what is a typical, this is a faith film. This is how it is. Put it into this box. And so
Because this is our pipeline that we built.
Exactly.
This is it.
Exactly.
We've already built the roads, and your film is out of the box. So
Right.
if it's out of the box, how do we ship it?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. We built the roads. We need you to have a car. And I'm like, well, I made an airplane. It's faster. It's better. It flies over the road. Don't worry about it. They're like, no, but we need a car on the road. It's like, don't just fly over it.
The destination.
Yeah. Get there faster and easier and safer, actually. But anyway, that was a big struggle. And so now, thank the Lord, we are here. Theatrical distribution. We have our VOD distribution coming down the road not too long in the future either. And we have it all set up. And it's something where it took a minute, but we finally got the distribution we deserved, and that the film deserved, and that God always was going to come to. You know, it was something where I really questioned my choices for a long time because of the hiccups. And then finally God came in and was like, nope, I got you.
Was the
All good.
release the finish line or the beginning?
Well, that's it. It's all, you know, film is forever. Film is forever. That's the thing. Film is forever. Not only because when you capture it and then put it on what used to be celluloid, but now, you know, whether it's physical media or just a digital format, it's always going to be that. You're going to change, but the film is always going to be what the film is. Theater is always evolving because every show is different every night. But film is forever. And because of that also, whether you're in the script form or whether it's 100 years later, it's still the same thing. The Godfather will live on forever as that great American classic film. And the hope with For Profit is the same thing will occur, is that, we just released it, but maybe it is just the beginning. The prayer is that, like It's a Wonderful Life, you watch it every year. The hope is that For Profit is going to be something that you continue to watch for years and years and show more generations.
And Kyle Marshall, as a entrepreneur who also dabbles in a little bit of faith theater as well, how is the market responding? Is more youth Christians or more youth faith-based things coming out? Is this always going to be old versus new guard type of thing? Is this the way it's always going to be?
Oh, this is a good question. I think I'm the wrong one to answer.
Oh, no, you're the perfect one. You're the perfect one to answer.
Okay, this is going to get real dark real quick.
Hey,
okay?
let's go.
I think that's one of the reasons of death. Death is made so people can change guards.
Okay.
I think that a lot of times we have a lot of old things that may have worked for years, maybe hundreds of years, but there is always new blood, new thoughts, new premises, new ideas. And even with Mark, at this point, when he just said, I didn't even know that they said it was too funny. I'm surprised because I know so many people who say, if you want to make God laugh, tell me your plans.
Yeah.
So the fact that's even something that it's like, God likes to laugh. It's like, okay, so why wouldn't you want to add God to comedy? So because people have that type of mentality, it shows you that whatever era they were in, they're in an era that no longer touches the generation that needs it. So once you are no longer able to touch the next generation, you probably need to let the next generation take it over and let them minister or talk or influence the next generation. And I think that that's not just a problem within the film industry, it's the problem within the music industry, and it's a problem within the church community, and it's a problem within America itself, including our governmental systems.
We
have a lot of people who have been doing their same jobs for 60 years, and it's like, just go home. Go with your family. Go find someone go with the people who love you. But people want to stay and make money just to be great somewhere else. So,
but there have been people that have thrown down the ladder for all of us. And we don't want to put an entire generation of people right in there. Who has been some of your largest supporters for people that are turning the crown over? Do you have mentors?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have a mentor in the older guard?
I do. My mentors are amazing legends. I have one, Mickey Howard. She is Grammy Award winner, Billboard Award winner, amazing singer, vocalist, been worldwide, and #1 albums and everything.
Wonderful.
And in her career, she has been so benevolent and so loving to the younger generations that she builds and she literally tries to uplift and give you all the information you need to move forward and be the best version of you. And a lot of times because I also do music, within the music industry, I have found that a lot of artists who may not be comfortable sharing information, they usually, they aren't as free. And so I'm grateful to have found people like her and people, other people, even in film, from Mark to even for me, a really, really, really great person. And I'm bringing them back up again with Burt Belasco.
Amen.
After I did For Profit, I actually started doing a podcast. And I recorded it called The Purple Couch Conversations, and it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
And Bert actually was one of the people who was like, you can do it, man. Just go ahead, just put a green screen. You can make it work. Just come up with a concept, come up with shows, blah, blah. And it's like he was like, you just saw a movie being made, man. You just saw a movie being made. You can make it, come on, it's just a podcast. And so because of that, it really inspired. So that's what I'm saying. Like, people like that, you don't necessarily have to be the world's biggest superstar to be a mentor to help people or help the next generation. You could be just like you and I. There's always someone who's looking to learn, always looking to grow. And all we have to do is just find those people. Within makeup, I do the same thing. There are some makeup artists who I absolutely love and adore. There are some younger makeup artists who I actually work with and go and help them every now and again when I do, because I'm like semi-retired from makeup. So it's like, makeup, it's like, I did. They're like, you did a movie? I thought you were retired. I'm like, it was a special movie. And now 4 years later, they're like, oh, I see what you were saying. I'm like, it was a reason.
There you
so,
go.
you know, yeah, I think, you know, as far as the guards changing, that's something that, you know, we have a lot of people who are great mentors. Not saying everyone needs to go home, but
No.
my mentors who I have been taught from and who I'm learning from still, most of them have said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with this person. We're both the same age. Why are they still taking opportunities from people who are 20 years younger? They need to go home.
Yeah, well, as Bob Dylan said, if you can't lend your hand, get out of the way, right?
Amen.
Paraphrase, of
Yeah.
course. He's way better at it than I am. But Mark, when I asked that question, your face lit up too. Who do you have that has helped you get through this journey? This is kind of not necessarily blazed a trail, but at least said, you know what? Hey, I'm running out of breath. Let me give you a push in my last little bit here.
Yeah, I've had so many people who have helped in so many different ways. As filmmakers, clergy have helped so much. I mean, so many people around the area, the pastors at even at the local United Methodist churches here in Schaumburg and Elgin have been so supportive in helping spread the word and getting the word out. You know, in general, I mean, I've had a lot of really great mentors. I think a lot of the people that I've looked to also, who I don't even know personally, I've just looked at what they've done when it comes to independent cinema, and I've taken it as a model, and I've said, okay, how did they do what they did? Why did they make those choices? And how can I emulate that? I mean, Christopher Nolan is a perfect example. I mean, he's making quite large movies now, but his first feature film was like a $10, $15, maybe $20,000 short film or feature film that he financed himself, that he wrote himself, that he shot himself, that he shot on black and white and staged the actors by windows so he didn't have to pay for lights. He was inspired himself by people like Richard Linklater and Kevin Smith. Mm-hmm. But in order to make the movies he's making now, he had to do that. And I think a lot of people have taken that as like, oh, okay, well, I can just go out and make my own movie. But he made very specific artistic.
You can with this.
Yeah, well, now it's a little
now
easier.
you can.
Yeah. When he was doing it in the late 90s, you had to shoot on film.
Yeah.
And to make that happen, to make that work, to make those choices was a very difficult thing. And he had to learn all of those skills. And he put up the money himself. And because of that, like if you actually watch his first film, it's called Following. It's fine. I think it's very well done. I think it's structurally, it's very him. He jumps all over the place in time and all this stuff, and it's very, very much his voice. But it's not my favorite movie. It's certainly not my favorite movie. In fact, I think it's fine. It's solid. But he needed to make that in order to get to his second movie, which was Memento, which is arguably his best. I mean, I think that film is an absolute classic. It's one of my top 10. And so, you know, guys like that, Spike Lee too, you know, Spike Lee, his first movie, he financed himself, he shot himself, he acted in himself. He inspired a lot of those other guys in the 90s because he was doing it in the late 80s. I think his first movie came out in 88 or 89. And it was very low budget, you know, shot on film. You watch it now, it's actually kind of a little cringy in the sense of like the timing and all the stuff and the sound design and all that stuff. But he had to do that to find his voice, to get it out there, to start making movies. And then he just ratcheted up the production value as he went along because people would be like, oh, now I can respect you. You made your own feature film.
I went to a night with Kevin Smith, and he said almost that same thing where he maxed out all of his credit cards, even after Miramax or anybody else gave him the money. Right. He still had to go out and do it in the budget and everything else.
And it's, you know, Kevin Smith. I want to say one more thing about Christopher Nolan. Yeah. I read a article where Christopher Nolan was talking about making his first feature film and who inspired him. He said in the article that yes, Richard Linklater, yes, Spike Lee, all these guys, but the number one person that inspired him was Kevin Smith. the reason why Christopher Nolan is who he is today is because he was inspired by Silent Bob.
There you go.
And that's the thing. You don't like you take inspiration from these guys, they take inspiration from other people, and you never know who is going to inspire more people to make these difficult choices of starting their first or feature film. But you would never think that somebody like Christopher Nolan was inspired by somebody like Kevin Smith, but that is what happened. And I love that story because you look at what Christopher Nolan's doing now and you look at what Kevin Smith is doing now, and there's a little difference in what they're doing, and yet they're of the same ilk.
Yep.
And I'm trying to do that myself.
I just want to say this. The one thing that I heard everything, and I want to just say from what you just said, that just shows that really we are all the initiators of change. As long as we have a idea of what we want to be, we can become exactly what we see.
Right.
The fact that Kevin Smith turned to Christopher Nolan, all these people inspire people. But each person who was inspired had an internal choice, as in Damon,
Yes,
for profit,
right, exactly.
to go ahead
Yes.
and say, I want to do something. I want to be better. I want to be somebody greater. And they did that, including you.
Yeah.
And me.
Yeah.
'Cause the first time I did makeup was in high school.
Okay.
Yeah. For a play.
And that's what inspired you to continue to go and move and change your life, I guess.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was always beauty. I love beauty. I grew up in beauty. I love beauty. Hair, makeup, that was always it. My first love in beauty was Moulin Rouge. That was the first film.
Sure. Yeah.
That was the most beautiful makeup and hair to me, and the outfits. And then when you go into old school, Marilyn Monroe with diamonds. Oh my God, the movie Hot. Something Like a Hot, Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, yeah.
So all those things. That's what I'm like. I always wanted. I'm like, I want to live like that. Like I want to live like that. And so to do hair and makeup, you get to live like that on set because that's where everyone looks like that all the time.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So where can we find you, Cal Marshall?
You can find me on callive.com. You can find me in Barnes & Noble underneath USAS, Indie Artists of the World. That's a book. I have some of the cast members in the book as well that I released last year, and it has photos of independent artists from Spike Lee down to Takia Crystal Kima and other artists, over 100 artists throughout the world. It's released every 3 years, and so I'm getting ready to do the next series next year, and we are just releasing it and letting it out there.
Wonderful.
And of course, people can get a signed copy at callive.com, and
That's great.
Find me.
And then where can we find For Profit, sir?
ForProfitFilm.com. That's profit like Moses with PH. ForProfitFilm.com. Check out the trailer. Check out your local listings. Chicagoland, Phoenix, Southern California, Charleston, Tennessee. But yeah, right here in Elgin as well. Check it out. ForProfitFilm.com. We got 3 more days, including today, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We got showtimes. Get out there. Do not miss it now. Get out to the theaters. Get your tickets. Go experience the prophecy.
This is the time to go see it. Go ahead.
And just in case you are looking everywhere to find it, the other great place to find it is Google.
Sure, just Google
You
it up.
can remember For Profit.
Yeah.
Google For Profit.
It's very exciting to just be able to Google my movie right now and
It
see
will tell you all
of
the
the
theaters,
episodes.
right? Like in
true.
case you're like, I'm not in Elgin. I'm not in Barrington. Where can I go? Go on Google. It will tell you the closest
Go to
one.
Google.
Yep.
You're nailing that SEO, and we appreciate you all coming in today. This has been Out to Lunch, WRMN. Go see For Profit Film. That is forprofitfilm.com. And also check out callive.com. That's with a K. We'll see you tomorrow. Up next, Open Book with the Gail Borden Library. We'll be right back after these.
If you are 50 years and older, you are welcome to join Elgin State Bank's sponsored movie days at Elgin Marcus Theater. It will always be on the second Thursday of each month. Doors open at 8:30 a.m. At 9 a.m., you will hear a very brief message from Sherry Aschenbrenner about upcoming senior events. And movies will begin at approximately 9:30 a.m. Coffee and a donut is complimentary. You can always call the movie theater
Tennessee,
hotline number of 847-888-7976 to find out what movies are playing each month. The cost is $3 if you are a member of Elgin State Bank, meaning you have an account there, and $5 if you are a non-member. And for more senior information, catch Sherry's Senior Showcase on the third Tuesday of every month at 9:15 a.m. right here on WRMN, AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 1 o'clock.
With your AM 1410 WRMN News Flash.
Attention all Schaumburg Boomers fans. Join the Schaumburg Boomers June 21st at 6:30 p.m. versus the Washington Wild Things for Jurassic Ballpark, dinosaur-themed fun all throughout the game. Presented by Premium Scout Night. On June 22nd at 6:30 p.m., it's a Bugs Bunny bobblehead giveaway. The first 1,500 fans will receive a Bugs Bunny bobblehead from the Chuck Jones Center for Creativity. Looney Tunes Night.
Roll into Bolero in Algonquin or Roselle and wake up with a story to tell. Bolero is bowling, gaming, dining, and nightlife with a twist. Score a sweet deal every day of the week and save big by checking out the daily deals online. Team up with your friends and hit the lanes by forming your own social club. Clubs offer lively competition and laid-back fun for everyone. From beginners to pros, make new friends, bowl, and hang out at a happening place. Visit Bolero.com.
Welcome, 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 my friends. Hello, my friends. This is Leah with WRMN, and today we have the opportunity to go with Open Book. Open Book is brought to you by the Gail Borden Library, sponsored by our good friends at KCT Credit Union. KCT Credit Union, obviously, if you are searching for a financial partner that truly has your best interest at heart, consider KCT Credit Union. Join the folks there. They are more than just a bank. They're a not-for-profit financial cooperative. KCT members are owners, meaning profits go back into you in the form of lower loan rates, higher savings rates, and fewer fees. So right now, experience personalized service that puts you first. Become a part of KCT while your financial well-being is their top priority. So again, we say thanks to our friends at KCT Credit Union. And today I have the pleasure of introducing Danny Rice. Danny is the head, he is the ultimate highest Pumbaa of mobile services over at the Gail Borden Library. So first of all, I want to say thank you, Danny, for joining us this morning or this afternoon. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing wonderful. We've got some warm sun outside, and I always tend to think, does this mean like when it comes to the kids in the library, folks are starting to come a little bit more towards the end of the day because they're out running about during the day?
Oh, yeah, you know, it's there's kind of an irony in the bookmobile world where if the weather's too nice, people will not want to be coming to the library because they're out enjoying it. So what we do is we just bring the bus to the parks. And the words it says on the side of the bus are bringing the library to you. So that's exactly what we do.
It's like if you can't build the mountain, or wait, Muhammad to the mountain, bring the mountain to Muhammad. Was that what it is? Yeah. So we will bring it to you if you need to check it out. Well, I want to say thank you for joining us today. And individuals out there, if you've been listening every Monday from 1 until 2, we've had the opportunity to speak with the Gail Borden Library on a weekly edition of Open Book. Now, we've had the opportunity to speak about all different types of subject matter. And I think that's the best thing that that's one of the best things and exciting things, and Danny, you can probably agree to this, that there's so many things and services that the library offers that people just don't understand them all or know them all. Do you feel that way sometimes?
Yes, I think one of the challenges is just trying for us to communicate to our community just how much we can help everyone with. What I always say is pretty much no matter what you need help with, the library is a good place to start.
That's true. And you know, in our day, when it always came back to looking for a encyclopedia, and these days we're in the world of Google and the world of checking everything out online, it still is such a need for a library. And the Gail Borden Library is celebrating an anniversary this year that I think shows it's got some street cred going on, don't you?
I do, yeah. It is our 150th anniversary this year.
I was so impressed. I brought this up, I think, when I met you originally when I was at the library, that there was such a warm, welcome, celebratory vibe when the actual celebration took place. Yeah, it was on Election Day. I remember that.
Yep.
But there were so many people and individuals that were at the library. Were you surprised by that, or did you know the love was always there?
Oh, I've known the love was always there. I'm not originally from Elgin, but so coming in kind of as an outsider, it's very very, very apparent how well loved and respected the Gail Borden Library is in our community.
How did you get involved? I always like to ask people this. How did you get involved in the library, and what's your background?
Well, obviously, as a young child, I dreamed of becoming a bookmobile librarian. No, I didn't even know that was a profession that you could become. I kind of fell into it, as is the case with a lot of people. I attended Illinois State University for my undergrad college, and when I was in my last year there, I got a job at the Bloomington Public Library.
Okay.
And they've had a bookmobile for, I think it's about 75 years. So they've had a bookmobile as an integral part of their services for a very long time. So it was the first library job I'd ever worked at. And I didn't realize that bookmobiles were kind of a novelty thing, or maybe even that they were uncommon.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate enough to go full time after I graduated. They asked if if I had any interest in learning how to drive the bookmobile. I said yes. And then I started at Gail Borden about 5 years ago. When we were launching our bookmobile services department, which we have since grown over the last 5 years into the mobile library services department. And we now have 4 different vehicles. We're a team of 10 people. And I actually counted just last week, between the 10 of us, we were involved in 36 different events in our community.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Between special event requests, regularly scheduled bookmobile stops, our book bike goes out to like the Elgin Farmers Market. This is our busiest time of year, and we have a really great team that is just eagerly trying to go out and provide library services into our community.
Let me ask, now you mentioned the book bike.
Yes.
So first of all, obviously we are in the midst of the downtown market happening right here every Friday, beginning at 3:00. So you'll actually, and I think I've seen this when I was there last year, it is a bike that's got the basket, and then you bring books down to the event. And is it where people look at it, or tell me what this means?
Yes.
Book bike.
Yes. So I should say it's our award-winning book bike, because last year we actually won. There's a professional development organization called the Association of Bookmobile and Outreach Services.
Okay.
And they have an award, which is the Book Bike Community Impact Award. And last year, the Gail Borden Library Book Bike team won that award. So we're very, very appreciative of that honor. But technically I should call it the book trike, because it is a tricycle. It has 3 wheels, 2 on the front and 1 in the back. And it's almost like there are opening fold-out cabinets that when you open up, there's a storage area, but also a display area.
Okay.
So we usually bring probably 50 to 75 books with us. We have an iPad, a Bluetooth barcode scanner, and we are able to set up as essentially a very small kind of pop-up library service desk, where we can sign people up for library cards. We can sign people up for the summer reading program that we have right now, and then they can check out some materials as well. So we go to the Elgin Farmers Market. We go to Lord's Park and the Lord's Park Zoo there. We are going to be going to a few other kind of one-time events throughout the summer. So it's a very, very engaging way to kind of meet people and interact with the community.
Well, and what a great way to get some PR out for the library.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to put that down to the wayside, because that's just as important. I always like the fact when bookmobiles or organizations got involved with events like the market, or like you mentioned a couple of the other ones out at Lord's Park, because sometimes parents are going to want to look around and look at some of the things that are for purchase, or some of the little tents and pop-ups at the market. So it's nice that kids can kind of sit down, and not only that, but you always have a representative there, so they learn a little bit about the library, and I'm sure you sign up a few library cards.
Oh, yeah. We actually, another one of the services that we have is, we call it our Technomobile. That's TECHKNOW.
Okay.
But it's our technology outreach. We were fortunate enough to, we were awarded a grant through the Secretary of State's office in 2021. And we have a Sprinter bookmobile, so picture more like the size of a FedEx truck, that we have a collection of circulating Chromebooks and hotspots, and we go out into the community, but people can also bring their devices to us. And we offer one-on-one technology assistance, device assistance. What we found out, and the reason I bring this up is I looked at the circulation information, thinking that the hotspots were going to be the number one draw, and I think they are for a lot of people. But the number one item that we check out is children's books, and it's because the parents will check books out for their kids to look at while they're receiving their technology assistance.
Yeah, and see, that's just smart all the way. I'm looking at him doing some of the wrap. I've got it up on the page right now, just showing the bookmobile. We've got a lovely picture of Danny peeking out the window driving it. It does show that he is in there and out there on the street. He is pounding the pavement, my friends.
That's what we do.
Absolutely. Well, when it comes to the bookmobile, as I said, you are the head of mobile services. And so tell me what that means if somebody would say, okay, we always said that you've got the perfect job for a dinner, like having a dinner out, and people say, well, what do you do?
Yeah.
Because there's everybody's like, well, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Let's hear what your job entails and what is it other than the bookmobile, because there's so many things behind the scenes as well.
Right. So for Gail Borden, it really started with the bookmobile, but even, kind of where the idea of a bookmobile started is a question that I get pretty often. Bookmobiles have been around for a long time. I think it was the early 1900s, 1904 or so, that they were kind of officially established. There was a woman named Mary Lemist Titcomb who was kind of the one who really spearheaded the idea, I think, over in Maryland or thereabouts.
Okay.
And it was kind of at the time more of like a book wagon, but the idea was the same. We have library resources in the library building, but we also want to engage people who, for one reason or another, may not be able to use the physical library or may not be able to get to the physical library. So let's get these resources out to them. And the reason that I kind of provide that background information is what I always say is our bookmobile is a bus. But what it really is it's a library branch on wheels. Okay. We strive to provide every service that you would have at the library building, just in a mobile environment. So it's more of a rolling library than it is a bus. Right. Customers do come on the bookmobile. We do have within mobile library services, we also have our readership early literacy coordinator who provides like traveling story times. We have you can place items on hold. So if we don't actually have something on the bus that you're interested in, you can always reserve it and we'll bring it out to your preferred stop. And that includes some of the kits that we have at the library. It includes some of the toys. I know they're very popular. So we really do try to offer, again, everything that you would come to the library building for.
Okay.
There are certain things that we're not quite able to. I know that we have our exhibits right now. We had a train that was driving through the main library the other day. We can't quite do that on the bus, but we still try to provide all of the core library services.
Which is nice to know. Now, for the services on there, tell me a little bit about, first of all, the student success, because one thing that we have, and we were talking about as the director of the mobile library services, again, we're speaking with Danny Rice today, is this has got to show exponential amount of growth in summertime, especially with reading programs and kind of keeping people on task. Now, you actually run year round, but what happens in the summertime, Danny?
So in the summertime, that's when we're doing a lot more of the kind of events out in the community. And by events, I mean we were just at like the Juneteenth event that the city of Elgin had here at Festival Park, not far away.
Right.
We partner with an organization called the Elgin Partnership for Early Learning. And they provide a service called Summer Learning on the Go, where they're trying to engage families at different parks and kind of community hubs. So we'll bring our vehicles to that to also provide library services. And we promote things like our summer reading program. There's another one called 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten that we really try to promote. The Student Success Program is actually something that we do during the school year.
Okay.
So that's while school is in session. But during the summer, it's a lot more events like that. Sometimes we will have, a bookmobile stop where we will go to a neighborhood or a park, and that is the draw, the fact that the bookmobile is going to be there. And sometimes, like with the Elgin Farmers Market, we will bring the book bike to an already existing event, something that's already established, and then we say, oh, we're here and we can provide library services as well.
I would almost imagine that a lot of organizations that are hosting events throughout the summer want to invite you to that.
Yes.
How do they do so? Or let's say if there is something that's taking place this summer and they want to have the bookmobile involved in it, do they reach you at the library, or how do they reach out to find out if you're available?
Excellent question. If you go to galeborden.info/bookmobile, we actually have a link to a bookmobile stop request form that you can fill out that goes straight to me. And then what I always say is we try to take every request into consideration. We are not always able to accommodate, but we will try our best. Between how busy we are, sometimes we're just booked, but we also have to have the staff to be able to do it. So if you're going to be inviting us to an event at midnight, we're probably not going to be able to be at that one.
Not at all. And what's that? Tell me that address. I'm going to pop this up on our YouTube page really quickly.
Of course.
So how did they reach you?
galeborden.info/ we'll actually do mobile-library-services.
Mobile-library-services.
Yes.
We're going to do the / mobile-library-services.
Yes.
Got it. And so that will take you. So again, if you do have an event, because first of all, it's going to help a draw to the event. Bookmobile is of the same kind of classification that if you'd want to have a Dippin' Dots at your event. Well, do you know what I mean? Because people are eager, and if that can kind of encourage traffic to come out to your local event, I think that's a great thing.
We were at an end of school event at which school was that? I forget.
Like one of the local schools?
Yes.
46 or something?
Yes.
Okay,
One of the U46 schools. And they had the Kona ice truck show up. And I was like, great, now we have to compete with the Kona ice truck.
You know what I was talking about.
What happened is people would go to one and then they'd come to the bookmobile. So it all worked out.
Do you have, with the bookmobile, I've always been curious about this. If people see it around, can people return books to the bookmobile if they've got them checked out at the library?
Yes, absolutely. So we try to make it as easy for everyone as possible. If you check out an item at one of our buildings, or either the main library or one of our branches, you can return the items to the bookmobile and vice versa. So if you are not expecting to see the bookmobile, maybe you're walking your dog or something, and that happens sometimes, you decide to check an item out, you can return it to one of our library buildings as well.
One of the other things I just want to interject here is that, first of all, we're talking about all this great service, and I've got Danny. I've got one person. I've got Danny here. So I know with 4 trucks or 4 mobiles or mobile units, whatever you want to call them, how big is this group that tackles the mobile services at the Gail Borden Library?
We have a team of 10 with us right now. And I believe, last time I counted, I believe 7 of us are bilingual in English and Spanish as well. So I personally am not, but we always have at least one person on board the vehicles who is, so that if we need to help one of our Spanish-speaking customers, we can do that too.
Now, let me ask you a quick question before we go to our first break. I know we're not in the summertime, but for people to get ready, because soon enough summer will be over and we'll be back in school, tell me a little bit about that Student Success Program that you were mentioning that happens during the school year.
Yes, of course. So this is now going to be our 4th year, I believe, 3rd or 4th year. And essentially what we do is it's a partnership between us and local school district U46. We picked originally 3, now it's 4, of the elementary schools that are in areas that we've been trying to get more engagement from our bookmobile. We worked with the schools to get the students' information and issue them library cards. And then the bookmobile comes and visits their school once a month.
Okay.
So the kids can come on with the card that they've been issued. They can check out one book, and then they get to keep that for a month. We have a book drop for returns inside each of the schools. And then they can also return items either to one of the library buildings or back to the bookmobile. And then they check out a book the next month.
Gosh, I love this.
Yeah.
This is why it's so important that we have shows like the Gail Borden Library's Open Book on the show today. So again, thanks to our friends at KCT Credit Union, because it's because of them that this takes place and that we can inform you of all of the opportunities that you have to be a part of the library. Danny, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Then we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about some of the home services that you offer, as well as some of the elementary things that you do to get out in schools. Because I know you mentioned the 1,000 book read before kindergarten, but just some of those extracurricular things that take place that you're probably doing already and can actually keep track of through even contact with the bookmobile and the Gail Borden Library. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with more after these messages.
Celebrating 70 years of serving the Fox River Valley, WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM is proud to inform and entertain you every day with great local shows that keep you connected with the people in your community, like the Radio Shopping Show, where listeners are encouraged to let us know about their experiences with our business partners.
We did the Japanese garden, and they had a free show at the time that we went. We went over to Denny's restaurant where we did the breakfast, and then we head off to Wisconsin Dells. We did the Pirates Cove, the Knucklehead. It was just a fun 3-day trip. So thanks to you guys.
The voice of the Valley and the home of the Radio Shopping Show. You are listening to WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
Overtime. You want to work less of it, so you need your crop protection to work more of it. When you add Tapran or Last Chance Pro adjuvants from CHS, they will. Designed for maximum efficacy, Last Chance Pro improves the uptake and translocation of herbicides, while Tapran helps activate herbicides for better performance against tough-to-control weeds. Ask your local CHS retailer how Tapran and Last Chance Pro adjuvants can put your crop protection to work.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. No matter the time of the day, WRMN 1410 AM is your platform to voice your views, share your stories, and connect with the Valley like never before. We're more than just radio. We're a community conversation that's always live, always local, and always looking for your input. Want to chime in on the drive time deal with Matt McNeil? Got a hot tip for first shift with Marky B? Or maybe you've got a question for a one-on-one with Leah. Now's the time to make your voice heard by calling Studio 14 at 847-931-1410. That's 847-931-1410. You can join in the dialogue from wherever you are by commenting on our YouTube live streams at WRMN Radio. Hit the subscribe button to get notified when we go live and bring your comments to the table. It's easy, it's fun, and hey, it's what neighbors do. We talk, we listen, we engage. You're not just the audience, you're part of the show. Call in, comment, and let's make radio interactive. WRMN 1410 AM, where your words are part of our wavelength.
Go out for Chinese tonight at the China House, 1900 Sycamore Road in DeKalb. Enjoy a platter for two, which includes Shanghai shrimp rolls, beef teriyaki, crab rangoon, spare ribs, as well as chicken wings and shrimp. The China House also offers all Chinese favorites, as well as sushi and hibachi, plus American food and ice cream. Try seafood, beef, chicken, sushi, and more from their most popular buffet items. Let China House tempt your taste buds. Call 815-748-0032.
El Diablo Cantina, located by Spring Hill Mall at 113 Southwestern in Carpentersville, is your fun, hip, and festive family Mexican cantina, serving authentic recipes from all over Mexico that are made fresh daily. There's delicious cocktails using fresh fruits or your choice of 30 craft beers, which go great with the menu. There's indoor and outdoor dining, open from 4 till 11 and until 4 a.m. on weekends, featuring Latin line dancing. Visit eldiablocantina.com today.
Open Book joins the WRMN lineup every Monday through Friday. Actually, every Monday, I take that back, from 1 until 2. Hello, my friends. This is Leah. Tune into Open Book with me, and today's Open Book guest is Danny Rice. He is the Director of Mobile Services at the Gail Borden Library. Open Book is found here every Monday from 1 until 2 and is coming to you from our friends at the KCT Credit Union. Remember, if you want to become a part of KCT, you are going to know that your financial well-being is their top priority. Visit kctcu.org. And again, right now, I am welcoming back Danny. Danny is joining us in the hot seat today. Obviously, the right person for the gig. I don't know how else to say that, but you and the information that you've been given out. So far, we have managed to talk about some of the book services that you offer in the summertime. And we've did a little recap, or I'd like to do a little recap if you don't mind. The Bookmobile has been around for how long? Do you know how many years it's been part of the library?
Our Bookmobile just celebrated our 5th anniversary.
So you just celebrated the 5th anniversary, and you've been there 5 years. So did they kind of brought this on for you?
More like they needed someone to kind of pick up the reins from where my boss Anna kind of was the one who had planned everything, and she needed someone to drive the bus and help kind of take it to the next level.
And I know you have family, so what a great gig to have with family, isn't it?
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah. The kids, my kids, I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they love coming to the Bookmobile whenever they have a chance to.
That's so great. So there's so many different elements of the Bookmobile. A lot of times people will just see, and I'll see if I can get this up on the screen. A lot of people will see it coming and realize that, oh, wait a minute, you know what? I want to go check that out, or I want to get some books, or the fact that you've made it mobile and the opportunity, there's really no excuse for us not to read.
Exactly.
I think we'll put it that way. This is Danny on the bus. He practices what he preaches. Well, we talked a little bit of the Bookmobile overall, its existence, and obviously with the Gail Borden Library and the different locations that you hit. What did you say? How many did you hit in a week?
So last week, between the 10 people who are in mobile library services, we had 36 different events.
Gosh, that amazes me.
The Bookmobile itself works on a 2-week rotation. I believe we have 42 locations that we visit throughout our community right now. That does include all 5 of the cities or villages that have that are part within the Gail Borden Library District. So that includes Elgin, South Elgin, Bartlett, Streamwood, and Hoffman Estates. We do have stops that go to all of those different places.
Now, is it a regular, obviously in the summertime when the weather's lovely, there's more for you to do. Does the Bookmobile run year round though, for people like that are homebound and like to keep up on their reading? It most
certainly does. Yes. We try to make sure that if you were to use the Bookmobile as your primary library, and we do have people who do that, that no matter what happens, no matter how the weather is, I mean, within reason, of course, but that you would be able to rely on that service.
Yeah, because a lot of individuals, especially homebound seniors, that is the highlight of their day. So, I can't imagine that not happening. So we love that.
Yes.
Well, we started talking about the student success that you were running into the season. So during the school year,
yes,
the student success program. Can you briefly tell people again what that was? We left the last segment talking about it.
Yeah, of course. So essentially, we worked with, right now it's 4 local elementary schools. We issued the library cards to the students, and then we bring the Bookmobile to them once a month. And they can return their items back to the Bookmobile, or we have drop boxes inside the schools as well.
There's something that's a real pride, having your library card.
Yeah.
Do you get that kind of wide-eyed appearance on the kids when
Absolutely.
They get their own?
We get some wonderful reactions where kids will come on and go, "This bus is amazing."
Yeah.
But it's also part of why we're doing it is we are trying to teach younger kids how to use the public library and how to, kind of the responsibility and the kind of rules of having a library card.
And again, honestly, that's a lot of times why kids buy wallets for the first time, so they can host their library card.
Exactly.
Right? They have to have a place for that library card.
Yeah.
Now, we talked a little bit and entered into it about the tech side of it, because, quite often you were saying parents will check out books if they need tech assistance.
Yes.
Tell me how that works with the library. And then do you have somebody special on hand to do that? Or are you just the jack of all trades?
Another excellent question. No. I'm not at all a team of one. There's a woman who works in mobile library services. Her name is Jasmine, and she is our manager of digital equity services. So her role is primarily to do what we can to try to bring technology library resources out into our community. If you're not aware, we already have quite a few technology-related library services at our library buildings. But what Jasmine kind of specializes in is taking those and bringing them out. So one of the services that we have we call it our Technomobile. That's TECHKNOW. Get it?
Got it.
And it's essentially a 90-minute bookmobile stop where you can come on and check out books. But we also have a collection of circulating Chromebooks and Wi-Fi hotspots that are available to check out. We actually offer that on our regular bookmobile as well. But then you can also bring your devices to a Technomobile stop, and our crew can kind of provide one-on-one assistance for those things. There's a long-standing program that we have at the main library and the branches called Device Advice, which is you bring your own device and a librarian will help you with whatever issues you may be having with it. And we modeled it partly after that and partly after a bookmobile stop. But with the added bonus that you could check out some of the technology devices as well.
And I am bringing it up on our page right now, Danny, the bookmobile. So for the events, it's got events that are running this week. So it usually sounds like it's updated each week. It has the bookmobile stops like Randall Ridge. Then they're going to be at Meyer Park. Now, the scheduling on there, like I said, do you hit obviously the district. So you guys are traveling quite a bit. I'm going from Elgin here to, let's see, you've got Meadows community rooms. You've got, I suppose, a lot of even daycares and summer schools, yeah?
Yes. So another one of the summer-specific services that we have is something called Gold Star Partners, which is essentially an expanded version of the summer reading program.
Okay.
Essentially, there's another woman that I work with. Her name is Hilda, and she is our elementary school engagement coordinator. So her job is basically to work directly with elementary schools and provide them with visits that are either a story time for the younger kids or book recommendation, book talks for some of the older kids. But she also does a really great job of promoting what we have going on at the library, like the summer reading program. Then in the summer, she's in charge of something called Gold Star Partners, which is basically working with summer camp groups, daycare groups. She'll visit them regularly and provide them with story times, and that counts toward their summer reading goal. And then at the end, she'll bring them each a prize packet. So it's basically a way for them to remotely participate in the summer reading program.
First of all, I always think there's going to be kids that are growing up and see how cool a job that you have that are going to want to do this when they grow up. Like, I want to be the head of a bookmobile. I want to deal with mobile services and be around books all the time. You're the third person now that's brought up multiple ways that you can achieve your book reading and your summer reading promise. The deal that you made and the summer reading trek. You're another person that said, you know what, that all counts towards being read to or reading to somebody. So I love that. Obviously, the Gail Borden Library has our back. They want us to achieve our goal and, again, get in on some of those special prizes. Now, we also talked a little bit about kind of delivering to seniors. What kind of other home services does the Bookmobile offer?
Yeah, so part of Mobile Library Services now is our home services, I guess you could say department, although it's really just one person now, with some helpers. But her name is Kat, and Kat is our home services coordinator. Home services is essentially defined as anyone who has some sort of a physical barrier that is preventing them from visiting the library or even visiting the bookmobile. Typically, it's kind of started with older folks who may have mobility issues. Maybe they don't drive anymore. But we actually, when someone shows interest in home services, Kat will interview them. And essentially try to see what it is that they're looking for. Sometimes what people really want is just a bookmobile stop closer to their residence, so that they can access the library that way. But sometimes we do have quite a few people. I think we have about 160 right now. People who live in our community who Kat works directly with to essentially curate a monthly delivery of materials to their home. Or it might be every 8 weeks.
Like in my head, I'm envisioning that if I'm going to go to the grocery store, I make my list, they gather all the items together, and then they deliver it to my location. And would that be part of a home services example?
Yes. It depends on the location. There are some assisted living facilities where Kat will essentially deliver a bin for,
They'll take a call. Like whatever you want. The bookmobile is going to be here. Tell us what you want, and you guys box it all up and deliver a package, and then they divide it out themselves.
Yes, but then we also have people who we will deliver to individual homes or apartments, whatever the case is.
I have to say, knowing that I've got this in my family, somebody that's in assisted living, that's so important. Just organizations here or residence halls. I'm thinking of like Oakcrest, or I'm thinking of all the different places here in the Elgin community that can benefit that otherwise wouldn't be out. And it just encourages that reading. I know there's people too. I mean, obviously people can start using Kindle and things like that, but there's still something about old fashioned just opening up that book.
Yes.
There's reading, like sitting by the summertime pond and just reading a book. There's something about that actual transaction, that actual physical thing that takes place. Tell me a little bit about, and we've been talking about the library, which has been around at the Gail Borden Library, the book services, mobile book services have been around for the last 5 years. But we were saying that I was talking to you, Danny, prior to the show today, and I said that you were saying it dated back to like the 19th century. Where books came into play. It makes me curious. This is something that we'll have to study. I bet you if we were on the bookmobile, we could look it up. But this is something that we would have to study because I said it seems like it was part of the women's movement in the 20th century. And I thought basically it was because they were teachers. At that time, more women were teachers. And you brought up, too, that usually a lot more women were librarians. So
yes.
I can see those two gigs going hand in hand.
Yes.
Yeah, so just anything they could to get learning out into the community to educate people, right?
Yes, anything that we can do. And I've heard people say to me, like, oh, it sounds like you have thought of everything, but we know we haven't.
Yep.
We know that there are still more things that we can do. So you can always feel free to reach out to us and provide us that feedback. And like I said earlier, we try to do everything we can to accommodate every request that we receive.
Now, of the book services, again, that we were just talking about, Danny, we mentioned the bookmobile and the student success. I know the techmobile, I brought that picture up on the board there. That one, again, is for people. Now, I know last week we had the crew in here that was kind of talking about the miscellaneous things that people can check out, like something you wouldn't expect, that whether it be tools or electronics.
Our library of things.
There you go. The library of things is what it is. And so for things like that, are those all accessible? Because I'm seeing the Technomobile, is that more for assistance on people's technological or electronic side, or can they actually check them out using the book services that way?
That's a great question. So what we offer on the Technomobile, besides books, which we do still have, is Wi-Fi hotspots and Google Chromebooks that you can check out for 28 days. The Library of Things is one of the few things that we do not offer on in the mobile kind of environment for just logistical reasons, essentially. But other items can be placed on hold and can be picked up on the bookmobile.
Which I love.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that somebody's willing to help me out if I'm trapped, and somebody is willing to help me with my electronics and any kind of techno.
Yes, and we will always try to do whatever we can to help, even if it's giving you the direct contact for someone at the main library who might be better suited to answer your question or provide you with a resource. We'll always try to help.
That's the best thing you can have is when somebody says, you know what, I'm happy to help you, but you just went above my knowledge of what I can do. What's a book bike? Is that the bike that you took down to the market when we have the farmer's market?
Yes,
or
it
the
is.
Elgin Market, downtown market. I got to start changing it now. They just changed their names to the downtown market. So is that there every Friday?
Yes, it is. That's there every Friday. Right now we go to Lord's Park every Tuesday.
Let's talk a little bit about that schedule, because you had the summer stops on there. If you don't mind us addressing that.
No, not at all.
Some of the summer stops that are happening this season. So
yes. So this is.
Is that part of what you were talking about, or we can wait on that?
Oh, it's a little different, but you know, it's all mobile library services.
Okay.
So the bookmobile, the bus bookmobile, does have, I believe it's about 25 stops that we do year round. But then in the summer here, we've added, I think it's 16. If I could count really quick.
An additional 16 over the summertime.
Correct, that are happening during the daytime.
Okay.
So that's where we're going to different parks and different places that we have found either success in the past with a bookmobile stop or an area that we're kind of trying to engage. We do have information about how active the library cards are in different pockets of our community. And usually what we are trying to do is we're trying to drum up more engagement in the areas where there isn't quite as much activity.
Okay, that makes sense. And then again, there's people maybe that just don't, I always say educate the public, because sometimes they just don't know that's a service that comes out their way.
Yes.
Right. Well, let's do this. I'm going to take a break, and then I want to come back and like we led into it a little bit with the downtown market with the book bike. But when we come back, let's talk about some of those bookmobile stops, because in case people are listening in those areas, let's share some of those with the audience. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll take a quick commercial break. I want to remind you you're listening to Open Book, brought to you by the KCT Credit Union. We'll be back in just a bit.
Ever take your car through the auto emissions lane only to experience the sinking feeling that your car has failed the test? Don't fret. Let Meineke at 376 Sundown in South Elgin fix the problem for you. Meineke's mechanics will determine the exact problem with your vehicle and suggest necessary repairs. With Meineke's diagnostic service, pass that test with help from the trained Meineke technician. Call today for your appointment. 847-888-9644. That's 847-888-9644.
WRMN has proudly served the Fox River Valley for over 70 years. We're located Douglas Avenue. Next to Studio 14 is our store, known as the Redemption Center. You are always invited to see us to live large for less. The Redemption Center is the place to pick up your orders, shop for certificates, and grab some brochures to learn about the offer. Our Redemption Center phone number is 877-741-7700.
We did the Japanese garden. They had a free show at the time that we went. We went over to Denny's restaurant. We did the breakfast. And then we head off to Wisconsin Dells. Did the Pirates Cove, the Knucklehead. It was just a fun 3-day trip. Thanks to you guys.
96.7 FM.
In the mood for some great barbecue but just don't have time to make it yourself? Carry out Coleman's Barbecue on Elgin's East Side at 79 Clock Tower. Coleman specializes in ribs, tips, chicken wings, seafood, and sandwiches with sides like coleslaw, potato salad, and dessert. Try Coleman's exotic mild sauce. It's the bomb. You can also buy sauce in gallon or pint sizes. It's prepared just right, the Coleman's way. Call 224-535-8153.
And welcome back, my friends. This is Open Book with the Gail Borden Library, brought to you by KCT Credit Union. Once again, if you want to experience personalized service that puts you first, become a part of KCT, where your financial well-being is their top priority. They're more than just a bank. They're a not-for-profit financial cooperative. And that means that KCT members are owners, that they get profits that go right back to you in the form of lower loan rates, higher savings rates, and fewer fees. I'm so glad that we were able to put this partnership together because, first of all, it helped educate myself on having a financial partner like KCT Credit Union, because I was not familiar with all the perks that credit unions have to offer. Well, today we are also having a great opportunity speaking with Danny Rice. He is the Director of Mobile Services out at the Gail Borden Library. And I like I said, I would probably put you familiar right from the get-go with the bookmobile. So you know when people see you, is it kind of like the ice cream man when the bell's ringing? Do you have a little sound that people see, or when they see the green bus, they know they're there?
When they see the green bus, they know we're there. The book bike, which we've talked about a little bit already, looks very similar to like a popsicle cart. And what I found out was if people think that the ice cream truck is there and then they see that it's the bookmobile, they're still excited, but maybe not quite as excited as they were when they thought they were going to be getting ice cream. So I've decided against a jingle because I don't want to let children down every day.
No, not at all. Well, there are a lot of different departments, and that's the one thing that we've been talking with Danny, and this is why I appreciate having a show like this on the air every Monday from 1 until 2, because we've been identifying the different departments at the Gail Borden Library. Obviously, this being an anniversary year, the fact that they've been around that long, and there's so many of us out there that did not realize some of the services. And Danny, I don't know if you knew it, but that's the reason that I came on looking at, is because I was looking at the booklet in the mail one day. I finally decided to sit down, which I know is like 90% of the population, and look at the booklet, the flyer that comes out in the mail. And I started seeing all the different services. And even prior to that, somebody had recommended, because I don't have the time on my lunch hour to run over to the DMV, they recommended to me that you can get your sticker for your driver's license at the Gail Borden Library. Yes. And so once I started going, well, they do that, they do this, they do this, they do this, passports. Yeah. And then we started to, things at the library. We started to talk all about these different areas. I love it. So hopefully, folks, if you've not been able to listen to them live, you can go to the WRMN YouTube page and you can go back on all of the episodes so you can listen to them at your leisure. So if you want to find out about those different departments. Today, Danny Rice, as the Director of Mobile Services, has been talking to us about the different elements that are part of the mobile services. So we've been talking about getting out with the big truck, with the bike, and also with the Techmobile, which I dig the name. I feel it's got to have a shirt made or something like for the Techmobile. But one of the stops is a schedule of stops that happens throughout the year. And we were touching base on that when we went to that last commercial break. Can you tell us now, you brought it up that the weeks are divided between week A and week B, but we thought we would take this moment, and Danny's gracious enough to allow it, to mention those destinations. So if you are in that area, if you don't know it now, this is where the bookmobile is coming towards you.
Yes. So we do have a 2-week rotation for the bookmobile. We have week A and week B. Today, for example, is week B Monday. So today we're going to be going to Old Oaks Estates, Huff Elementary, and St. Francis Park. However, earlier today, we were at Randall Ridge Park, Meyer Park, Heritage Park, Boathouse Park, and Settlers Park. So the first 3 that I mentioned are the ones that we still have to do this afternoon, or that we get to go to. And the other 5 are the ones that we were at already. Okay. During the summer, we now have special daytime stops. So those are the other 5 that we had. So all told, we go to 42 different locations. It is on a 2-week rotation, so the due dates for the items correlates with the time that we'll be there. So, for example, DVDs check out for 2 weeks at the main library. They only check out for 1 week. And that's to give all of our Bookmobile customers an extra week so that they can return the item the next time the Bookmobile is there.
Which is the whole purpose of having the Bookmobile, is making it mobile.
Yes. Yeah. And then books check out for 28 days, so they're due the time next. So your items are always going to be due on a day where the Bookmobile will be back again, so that you can return it. Although you can also return it to any of our drop boxes throughout our community, any of our library buildings, really anywhere that says Gail Borden, you can return it.
All right, so we've been talking about the home services that you offer, the elementary school engagements. Let's talk about readership. So tell me, when it comes to mobile services, what does readership mean to you?
Yes, so our readership early literacy coordinator, her name is Stephanie. Stephanie does a really great job of providing, as the name implies, early literacy services throughout our community. So Stephanie will, during the regular year, Stephanie will visit daycares, preschools, and she'll provide story times. Stephanie is bilingual in English and Spanish, so she always incorporates that. I guess on request. She doesn't always, but there's songs and there's stories. And then in the summer, she does, we actually just did one recently, where we will go to the Lord's Park Zoo, and we will do an animal-themed story time in the zoo, in the actual zoo itself. I actually used to be a Storytime children's librarian, so I bring my guitar and we just have a lot of fun singing songs and reading stories at the zoo.
What a great way to make it interactive, for the kids. It's almost like this little bonfire, everybody hanging out outside in nature, and especially I think they've even got the great nature crew with the library, the organization, what is that?
The Nature Rangers?
Nature Rangers, yeah. And being a part of that. So knowing that it becomes an all day. So does that incorporate, do you ever work with daycares that they come out and they do field trips, just coming to a location like that, not necessarily coming directly to the library?
Yes, yeah. There were a few groups who came out to the Lord's Park Zoo for the last, it's called Stories Under the Hickory Tree. And all of these events are things that you can find on just at gailborden.info under the events. But then you can also go to gailborden.info/mobile-library-services.
Okay.
And there you can learn about the Bookmobile, the Technomobile, the Book Bike, the Readership, home services, elementary school engagement. So that's kind of your hub for all things mobile library services.
Okay, and what about if somebody wants to get the schedule of the Bookmobile stops? What would they do a search for, or how would they find that out on the website?
So if you go to our event calendar, you can filter by Bookmobile.
Okay.
You can also go directly to gailborden.info/bookmobile. And that has an interactive schedule. So the first stops that show up will be today's stops, for example.
Got it. So right now on Monday, and again, I'm going to bring this up. I just want to pop this on the screen so folks can see what we're talking about. So right now for Monday, the next stop is going to be, we did the Monday ones this morning. So we hit the Randall Road. Those are the ones you mentioned, Meyer Park, Heritage, Boathouse, and Settlers. So the next one coming up is going to be the Old Oaks Estates, right?
Yes. So from 3 to 3:45 today, we're going to be
Where
at Old Oaks Estates. That is over off of Villa, kind of behind Villa, and I'm forgetting that crossroad.
Okay, but it's Elgin.
Yes,
right.
yes, Elgin.
Okay.
Yes.
So, well, the reason I was asking that, Danny, is because obviously these go to different locations within the district, in the Gail Borden Library District.
Yes.
Now, you got the multiple library units and subs, unit. I don't want to say subunit. What do you call that one? So, like, what would Raco be, or what would South Elgin be? So that is a...
I just call it the different pockets of our community.
Pockets, there we go, of the community. So at some point, first of all, there's got to be work done in there. If somebody wants to return a book to you and then all of a sudden you have to find out what library it went to, I mean, there's got to be a sorting and everything. So that takes people to do it.
Yes, it does.
And so you said you've got 10 people that are on staff. So when you park your car or park the truck, the Bookmobile, at the end of your days of stops, then it's like the work does not stop there, does it?
No. It's very much like the work that goes on behind the scenes at any of the library buildings. We have entire departments that do everything that that are not facing the public in their position.
There we go.
But they're working hard to make sure that the library runs as smoothly and efficiently as possible.
Well, Danny, I want to thank you that was a fast hour, wasn't it?
It was.
So, yeah. I love having you on the air. Hopefully we'll be able to have you back again. And I'm going to say, being the Grand Marshal of the 4th of July Parade, we're going to be out there next week. And I'm going to suggest you might want to watch out for the bookmobile in the parade and see what's going to be happening.
I'll be driving it. So.
I can't wait. Well, we'll be announcing it. I'll wave to you. We'll get a little heads up on it. And obviously it's always a fun thing to see, not only that, but being part of the community. So thank you for what you do.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to hand it on back. Have a great day, everybody. Again, thanks to KCT.
Financial partner that truly has your best interest at heart? Join KCT Credit Union, where they're more than just a bank. They're a not-for-profit financial cooperative. KCT members are owners, meaning profits go back to you in the form of lower loan rates, higher savings rates, and fewer fees. Experience personalized service that puts you first. Become a part of KCT, where your financial well-being is their top priority. Visit kctcu.org. Each account insured up to $250,000 by Members' Choice. This institution is not federally insured.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 2 o'clock.
With your AM 1410 WRMN Newsflash, I'm Sean Kernan. Brought to you by Eloquist. Elgin gearing up for its National Night Out celebration August 6th, inviting residents to strengthen community ties and enhance safety through fun and unity from 6 to 8 p.m. Locals can host their own block parties, and which will be visited by city officials and fire personnel as well as mascots if registered by June 30th. In Naperville, a well-deserved retirement celebration underway for Commander Dan Fisher, who has dedicated 32 years of service to the Naperville Police Department and has announced his retirement. As he steps down, the city releasing a statement expressing gratitude and best wishes for his future endeavors. The City of Elgin launching an innovative recycling program every Friday at the local farmers market in collaboration with Terrace